Hello and welcome to Born Not Manufacturers. It's me, Luke, and today, unfortunately, I can't be joined by Keith and Stephen, but I'm still going to try and do the podcast on my own, so let's see how well this goes. We'll start with the Norwich game. Different manager for the day. We had David Unsworth in charge with Joe Royle as his assistant. It was a much better performance. You could tell from the off that we looked at a completely different team. From the start, at the start, there was actually a part where we made like 2 or 3 passes. And then from that it came a shot. It just shows that you don't have to be doing 80 odd passes around the back before we actually think about getting into the opposition's half. We got to see the young kids as well. Tom Davis especially, putting him out of the match performance in my eyes. Kieran Dowell played well, played brilliant actually. John Joe Kenny as well, he plays well. Pennington originally started the game before he came off for John Joe Kenny, but he got injured, didn't he? So we can't really make a judgment of him in that game. Yeah, the game finished 3-0. It was actually because it actually made a refreshing change to see some enjoyable football for once. But it all came too late in the last game of the season. But it was a good way to end what was a poor season, which we did start quite well, except for the first game against Watford, which we drew 2-2 in pathetic manner. But we went away to Southampton and won 3-0. Which was a great counter-attacking performance, which, like, we looked at that and think if we can put in performances like that all season, then we might get somewhere. We after that, we lost to City 2-0. I couldn't really expect us to beat them because at the time they were on fire, they were on great form. Went to Barnsley in the League Cup, 2-0 down after half time. Which, to be fair to Martinez on that game, we actually went and told them as it is at half time. You can actually see he slammed his Chewy onto the floor and stormed into the dressing room. We scored 2 goals in the second half to make it 2-2, only to concede a matter of seconds later to make it 3-2 to them. That was typical Everton. It took us a good 15-20 minutes to equalise after that, but after we did equalise, we took it to extra time and all, and then it was quite straightforward from there. We beat them 5-3 in the end. We got a draw against Spurs, which was a decent result at the time as well. Against Chelsea, we won 3-1. That was a great result, although it looked like it was a great performance, but I think it was more of a case of Chelsea were god awful. It made us look better. We drew away at Swansea in a very, very frustrating game. We went to Reading in the Cup after that. We won 2-1 after being 1-0 down. It was another really unconvincing performance. Against West Brom too, we were 2-0 down, won 3-2. We actually came back. Again, it was so unconvincing. We drew against Liverpool. That was our best opportunity to win a derby in years, in my honest opinion. They were on a poor run of form, and they get the first goal going up, but then we equalised for half time. The second half, not much happened, did it really? It was such an average, bang average match. Yeah, obviously the international break came after that. Then we had Man U at home on the day Howard Kendall sadly passed away. It finished 3-0 to United. It was the blame was kind of pointed towards the Howard Kendall passing away, but that from some people it was anyway. But that's definitely not the case in my opinion. That can't be used as an excuse because you've got. If something like that happens to a club legend, the just got to tell him to go out there and put in a performance of the lads for the man. But they just didn't. They didn't look arsed whatsoever. It looked like a friendly game. And it better fucking felt like that for Man U, didn't it? 3-0, slow tempo passing, and it was so easy for them. It was a pathetic performance from us. Arsenal the week after. I suppose that it weren't such an Everton performance, it was more of a Tim Howard performance because the 2 goals that they scored, they were all down to him. We got a goal back before half time in Barkley, but after that, the second half was. We actually had a chance late on to equalise with Delafeu, but it just went straight to the keeper. But we lost that anyway. We drew with Norwich in the cup after the extra time and then beat them on pens. That was that was a terrible game. It was god awful. But like I say, it took us the pens to actually beat them. Beat Sunderland 6-2 after the weekend following that. We were 2-0 up just before half time. Then we conceded after half time to make it 2-2. But after that, they were all over the place really. It's a very, very easy win. We had a couple of draws in and there. in between we beat Villa 4-0 home, but we drew 1-all at West Ham. Which is a decent result again at the time because they were on a decent decent run of form, and well carried on that to be honest for most of the season. Um, Bournemouth away, 3-all. That's our season summed up to a T. That 2-0 up, then they make it 2-all later on. Then we make it 3-2 in like the 94th, 95th minute. Then the minute later, they go on and score to make it 3-all. Right after our fans on the pitch and all, which, how the hell have we gone, how the fuck have we gone on through that? All you have to do is hang on, and they failed to do that. They just cannot hang on, they couldn't hang on to save the life. The blame of that game was kind of pointed towards the midweek game against Middlesbrough, which is ridiculous to point blame towards that, saying the man's doing that, but we won it anyway. We won that game against Middlesbrough 2-0. Take us through to the League Cup semis. That was a decent night. We drew a couple of games against Crystal Palace and Norwich. I think that was when we went on that run where we punished. We'd be all over teams, but we couldn't punish them. We'd go in 1-0 up when we should be like 4 or 5 up at half time. Then they'd come out to score and they finished at 1-all. So, and the perfect example that's the Norwich game. Lost to Leicester and Stoke with Goodison and two very, very poor performances. And I think that kind of turned a lot of the fans against Martinez. That the Stoke game especially anyway. In between then we beat Newcastle 1-0 on Boxing Day, which was unconvincing. Like, took it to the last header of the game, if you will, again from Tom Cleverley to actually score. But we won the game. We could actually celebrate that anyway. Celebrate something. In the new year, we drew with Tottenham, first game of the new year. That was pathetic performance really again. A decent goal, but it didn't do for all to warrant getting any sort of result out of that. It was just lucky that they didn't win. After that, we beat City 2-1 in the League Cup first leg, which made us believe that we were going to go on to secure a place in the final. And at the second leg, actually, it was horrible because we go 1 up and that taking us 2 up on aggregate. Only Everton could throw that all away really. Just typical. We beat Dagenham and Redbridge 2-0 in the FA Cup, which that was something pathetic. That really. 2-0 against Dagenham and Redbridge. What the? We had a couple of draws here and there. One draw I'd like to point out was the one against Chelsea. 2-0 up. Then typical Everton again. 2-all. Then we go 3-2 up in the last minute. Then go on to concede to John Terry from a back heel in the very last kick of the game. It shouldn't have happened like they go. They played a minute over the time, which was quite ridiculous really. But again, you've got to try and hang on for stuff like that. Like, we shouldn't have even been in that position anyway. We should have, once we're 2 up, we just don't do anything stupid. Try and hang on for that, like. But you know, it's just typical. It was another one of the games that was the story of our season. We lost to Swansea after that. That was horrible. That was just Swansea City. It was such a spineless performance as well. We beat Carlisle 3-0, pretty much should be happening anyway. Beat Newcastle 3-0, very poor Newcastle side, may I add. Then on the Saturday after that, we beat Stoke 3-0, their place. That was a decent performance, that to be fair, that was played superb, that. Then we go and lose 1-0 to West Brom, back to square one. It just shows how poor we really were under Martinez, and we don't know how much better we're gonna get. We're just gonna see what mileage you'll be getting, stuff like that. But beat Bournemouth in the cup. I beat Aston Villa. A somewhat pathetic performance again. Which after that, we kind of knew that we were gonna get beat by West Ham after being 2-0 up. We can see 3 goals in the last 12 minutes in typical fashion. I don't really want to talk too much about it because it's the same story for the most of the games. The week after, we actually beat Chelsea 2-0 in the quarter-finals of the FA Cup. Take us to the semi-final. Great day, but it was a game of 2 poor sides really. It's just Lukaku really won it for us, because if that would have went to Stamford Bridge, we wouldn't have won, but that way. After that, we went on a run of 7 games without a win. Starting with Arsenal home, then Man U away, 2 pathetic performances. We had Watford away after that, I think, and go 1-0 up. And mate actually said to me, like, decent time to score. McCarthy just before half time. I said, look, just don't get your hopes up now, because it's inevitable that we're going to concede straight away. Guess what? We did. 2 away at Palace, 0-0. That was pathetic. We could have lost that as well. Southampton 0-1 all. We should have lost that as well. We actually hung on to a lead for quite a decent amount of time, to be honest. The derby, don't even get me started on that. 4-0. 3 touches in the opposition box. What was it? It looked like we were starting that game well as well. But then it's just after about 15 minutes, that was it. We were done for. We go after that. We have to go to Wembley to play against Man U, semi-final. The first half was somewhat pathetic, as usual. Go on 1-0 down. It's like, you're at Wembley. Show some fucking fight in the semi-final, for fuck's sake. They come out in the second half, to be fair, and show, well, half an hour worth of fight, and we get a goal. And then, in the last minute, in such a cruel time, we go on, we concede to Martial. It was just horrible. Like, if we're gonna get beat, just don't make it at the last minute. Just let us get beat 3-4-0 or something, and I'll just be less bothered then. Fucking hell. He should have been sacked after that, to be honest. That was, if he should have been sacked ages ago, but if not then after the derby, if not that then after the semi, but it took them to after Sunderland to actually sack him. They've left it far too late with 1 game left. They sacked him with. That was just. But we beat Bournemouth. It was a very unconvincing victory. They could have won it. Leicester and Sunderland. I think I can analyse both of these games in one because they were both the same. Really, it was just so pathetic. It was actually. It reminded me of the derby. It was pathetic. I think with the Leicester one, they could have scored about 7 or 8. Sunderland one, I think they could have scored a couple more as well, made it 5. But like I say, he got sacked before the Norwich game and played against Norwich. We won 3-0. What was Tim Howard's last game? Actually, we've criticised him for the last 2 years. I think I actually criticised him earlier in this podcast, to be honest. But he's been a great servant, to be honest. He got the send off he deserves, and we're gonna wish him the best of luck in the MLS. Like I say, the 3-0, it was so much better. It's a good way to, like I say, it's a good way to end the poor season. Hopefully we can hope for better things next season if we get a decent enough manager. Vert Koeman might be turning us down. I'm not going to lose sleep over because there's many more options out there. Why not go for Unai Emery after last night? Like, in all seriousness, we actually linked with Lucien Favre, the ex Mönchengladbach manager. He took over them when they were fighting relegation, and then the season after he took over, he got them Champions League. So that he sounds a decent manager, but my priority, I'd say, would be De Boer. He's actually a decent manager. He works well with the kids and all. Proven to be flexible with his tactics. What we want really is someone who will actually change if it's not going right. But like I say, hopefully you can hope for better podcasts next season. Regarding podcasts anyway, the future podcast, the next one I'd say we predict it'll be for the new manager. But after that, we'll do quite a few over the Euros, like 2 a week or something like that. It'd be quite fun to do, recap England's performances and from Stephen's point of view, Northern Ireland's. But like I say, it should be a laugh. But this has been it for this podcast anyway. Let us know what you think in the comments. Please be sure to like, subscribe. You've been listening to Born Out Manufactured, and I'll see you next time.